when I got into it, I just had no idea how overwhelming it would be. And so much has gone on in the last 2 years, most of which everybody knows about. And it's just really taken a toll on my personal life. It's kind of taken a back seat to the district business. And it just finally came to a point where I had to take care of myself and my family first. And it was time to do it. There's never a good time to do it, and it was incredibly difficult. I mean, I do feel bad. I do know what, drama this creates and what, and the instability it'll cause for a little while, but I'm hopeful that, there's good people out there, and I'm hopeful that some people will step up to the plate, and that if anything has come out of my last 2 years, that people will see how important it is to be on the board. I know it scares a lot of people off, but I'm hopeful that other people will say, wow, I need to step up and do some public service and do the right thing. But don't ever think that it's just a little part-time casual job, because especially being president, it's a full-time job and more. Thank God for my husband, who's been here with me through all this, because I can't imagine just doing it without some moral, emotional support at home. You live and breathe it. You wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it, and you wake up in the morning thinking about it. Or you should. I mean, you should, but it's just very draining. A few weeks ago, I did suggest to him, it wasn't like a formal meeting, it was at the end of another meeting we had, and I just said, I just want to throw something out there that, and I don't know, maybe you have thought of it already, I don't even know, but it's just my personal suggestion. It wasn't a formal request with me as a trustee or as board president or anything, but just that, think about, in light of our negotiations, and more than likely, I think we all pretty much know everybody's going to take some kind of cut, that probably it would be the right thing for you to take a cut too. And the reaction was, oh, well, I took a pay cut. When I was hired, that was a pay cut, which was news to me. I mean, you came in at X number of dollars. There was no negotiation of, well, we're going to pay you this. And he said, oh, well, give me less. Or if there was, it was behind the scenes. It was never brought to the board that way. And he was just adamant that he already took his pay cut by the dollar amount that he came on board with. What he did was wrong, and I'm not really honestly sure if he believes it's wrong. There have been so many mixed messages there. He said he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't use any public funds, but he did apologize for what he did. I don't know, but it was wrong. Obviously we know he said that there were personal expenditures there, and yes, I do believe he should, and the idea of recalls, I think being tossed around out there, and it would be a shame if it got that far and the district would have to pay for a recall. But I think it's a distraction, and it's going to continue to be a distraction, and that gave me some pause in me doing this at this time, because we don't need another distraction, but obviously I have to do what's best for me and my family first. That was one of the most difficult things I've ever done. Even though it was the right thing to do, it's very, very hard. And I've supervised people for years and years in my former career before I retired. And it was hard because, there were a lot of issues involved with him, and a lot of people kept pushing, get rid of him right now. Well, it's hard to do when you just come on board. In the first month or two, you're not ready to fire the superintendent unless there's a black and white criminal issue or something, which there wasn't. And there were people that had certainly been on the board longer than me that were more familiar with the situation. But it really takes a long time to kind of get your groove and really understand even what the district is about and to know everything. So when people finally began to trust me and started telling me things and what was going on, that's at the point where I said, okay, something's got to be done. When I made the decision, I knew it was absolutely the right thing to do. But doing it and sitting there telling somebody that, okay, I'm putting this on the agenda, and he knew right then, well, if you're doing this, then it's going to fly. And I said, I'm just putting it out there. We'll see what happens. But it was very difficult. You know, even if it's the right thing, doing the right thing isn't always easy. And there's a part of me that feels like, oh, gee, I'm bailing, you know, when times are tough. But it's all tough. The last 2 years have been tough. You do what you have to do in the job. It'll get harder, but you still just make the tough decisions every day. So do I see the next 2 years as tougher than the last 2 years? Fiscally, yes, and tougher for the employees. But as a trustee, do I see it tougher? Not necessarily, because every time you have a meeting, every day you're making tough decisions. So one isn't tougher than the other. I think it's what you have to do.